Last time we talked about cover 3 and attacking it. Now we're going to do the exact opposite. Cover 2. If you take the holes that are open against cover 3 and put in guys in those positions, remember we talked about the flats, the 5 areas to throw it underneath, 2 guys down the hash mark. They cover every area in cover 2, and it's exactly the opposite. If you take the open areas in cover 2, it diagrams out just right at cover 3. 3 deep, 4 underneath. So now your thought process has to be radically changed because of where guys are. Cover 3, remember we attacked outside, back in. Can't do that the same way. Now, if we're going to go outside, it has to be a long short concept every time, where we attack long and short behind outside guy. We can attack long and short inside against any of the 3 people in there. So we attack into those areas. All right, we can fit it in there between them because they still have to cover the field. All right, down the field, now you've got 3 areas to throw. The areas outside, remember 18 to 22 was the depth on cover 3. Because it's the width being a little bit more, it's 16 to 20 is the hole on the outside. If you're going to fit the ball in past the corner and under the safety, you fit it in, knock the paint off the top of his helmet the same way. When you practice one of those throws, you work in the other one. So it's 16 to 20 on this. Right. Tight end down the middle, or tight receiver in there. He can still find area underneath. You have to understand how these guys are playing. Are they big, deep guys? And that's the way you tell the difference in the coverage, where the safety's aligned in relation to the hash, how deep is their initial alignment, and how fast do they back up. You have to know all those things. They don't come flying up real fast, because then play action get them. You have to understand, are they playing traditional cover 2 where they're trying to bang the receivers, they're trying to push guys inside, or are they playing like wooden Indians where they're just standing out there in a spot? Okay, some people will match up and try to do different things on all the different coverages, so it almost becomes like man coverage, but you have to see. So one of the common routes is a smash combination. All right, now the quarterback is in charge of making sure that he holds that safety as much as possible. With his eyes, he can grab him with his eyes and move him a little bit. Just hold him. All right, the receiver has to get down there. Quarterback's got to have the clock ticking. When he gets to the depth, 10 yards, 12 yards, whatever you use as the break, and make sure it's on a landmark so he knows where to go. He puts his foot in the ground. I always like to aim for a fairly deep angle, because if you go too flat initially, it closes the gap for the corner. He has to go less distance. Sometimes the guy might be able to be in a fairly tight coverage, but take 3 steps, turn around, jump up, be able to tip or intercept the ball if you go too flat. So we aimed for 30 yards deep. Now, did we ever get to 30 yards deep? No, we never caught a ball that deep. But if you put your foot in the ground and aim for a spot 30 yards from the line of scrimmage on the sidelines, then the quarterback's got room to lead him outside. The fact that he's going a little bit more vertical, the safety tends to be going this way a little bit more. The flatter he goes, the flatter he can come in over the top of him and force him down to this guy. Now, this guy, if he's going to make that play at all, he's got to turn and just go. He's got to get back there, and that clears it up for the quarterback. Now he can't throw it to the flat because there's no longer anybody covering it. So you need to study how they play and attack what they do. Okay, find the openings, work long, short, where the openings are. Right down the hash mark. It's not going to be very productive, but you can push a guy down the field. And I promise you, you get a guy pushing, if they're dropping out of there deep, you do something in front of that middle linebacker and you roll somebody in right behind him, you're going to have a good play there one way or another. So you keep the principles the same and you do the routes according to what you like to do and what fits in your scheme.